Hello listeners and welcome to this week's recording of Boomerang. Team 5 here today, and it's made up of Sadie, Ruth, Claire and Rosemary, and our engineer today is Ray. The news this week is taken with permission from the West Lothian Courier dated the 1st of May 2025. As usual, the news will be broken into 4 parts, and can I remind you, when you've listened to the whole recording, please post your wallet back to us from a post box and not the post office. Now we will start part 1 with the general news. And the first item is the headline item, and it's headed, Residents Terrified as Cars Firebombed, and is by Ruth Suter. Cars have been firebombed in a West Lothian town as residents have been left terrified by thugs who targeted a house twice in 2 weeks. Emergency services raced to Tweed Drive in Crakeshill area of Livingston after receiving reports of a vehicle being torched at around 10:30 p.m. on Monday, April the 28th. Images shared with the Daily Record show the motor engulfed by fire after it was set alight just metres away from a family home last night. Aggressive flames were pictured ripping through the vehicle as firefighters battled to put the blaze out. The incident comes just weeks after another car was deliberately torched at the same spot on the street shortly after 8:30 a.m. on Tuesday, April the 8th. Pictures show flames spilling from the vehicle with fire crews in attendance. It is believed both incidents are linked. A source told the Record that the fire bombings are thought to be drug-related. They said that residents have since been left terrified. The source said, the first firebombing sounded like a gunshot, but it was just the car going up. I opened the window and it just exploded. 2 cars have been torched, but it has caused significant damage to other vehicles parked nearby. The fire last night was much scarier than the first fire earlier this month. It completely ravaged the car. You could hear children screaming. It was horrible. Police Scotland have been approached for comment.
This article by Michael Pringle is headed, Hislop Welcomes Change for Carers. West Lothian MSP Fiona Hislop has welcomed a change that could put more money in the pockets of thousands of carers. The MSP for Linlithgow constituency highlighted a change to the earning limit for carers which came into effect on April the 16th. It means more unpaid carers in West Lothian could be set to benefit from the change in eligibility rules. There are currently 22,116 unpaid carers living in West Lothian. The earning limit for Scottish Carer Support Payment has increased from £151 to £196 per week, meaning an unpaid carer in West Lothian can now earn £45 more a week from paid work after tax and other expenses and still be eligible for the payment. Fiona Hislop MSP said, I welcome this support for unpaid carers across West Lothian, which means that carers who are already receiving carer support payments will be able to undertake more paid work and still be eligible to receive this vital support. We know from the latest census figures that there are 22,116 unpaid carers across West Lothian, and I would urge all of them to ensure they are receiving the support they are entitled to. The increase in this support will improve the lives of people across West Lothian and is an example of the Scottish Government using their powers to provide the support people really need. You can check eligibility at www.mygov.scot/browse/benefits. The MSP for Linlithgow constituency, which includes Bathgate, Broxburn and Armadale, also welcome new figures showing that 1,286 apprentices were in training in West Lothian at the end of last year. According to the MSP, the numbers show the positive difference that improvements made by the Scottish Government have made to modern apprenticeships in West Lothian. Apprenticeships provide for young people with the opportunity to gain key skills and are a route into a number of high-quality careers, said Fiona. I was also pleased to see the recently passed Scottish Budget commit £100 million in funding for modern and foundation apprenticeships in 2025-26, as this funding will further expand apprenticeship and training opportunities for young people across West Lothian.
This Broxburn boy's life tracks Hollywood rise of local legend, and the article is by Michael Pringle. The life of an award-winning Hollywood movie director from Broxburn is being celebrated in a new documentary. Michael Caton-Jones' This Broxburn Boy's Life is a co-production between the two Scottish production companies, Particular Films and Two Rivers Media. The 67-year-old grew up in the West Lothian mining village before moving to London and studying at the UK's National Film School. His first feature, Scandal, about the Profumo Keeler sex scandal, became an international hit and put him in high demand. He went on to direct a number of successful big-screen movies, including Memphis Belle, Doc Hollywood, Rob Roy, The Jackal, Shooting Dogs, Our Ladies, and Basic Instinct 2. Another film he directed, This Boy's Life, saw Leonardo DiCaprio in his first major film role, with Caton-Jones instrumental in his casting. The Scottish production companies collaborating to produce the documentary about the West Lothian man have announced that the actor-producer Matthew Modine and Adam Rakoff's Cinco Dedos Películas production companies have boarded. The documentary includes interviews with Caton-Jones and those who worked with him throughout his career, including David Putnam, Tim Roth, Letitia Wright, Ron Perelman, Ewan Bremner and David Heyman, as well as never-before-seen archive material from Caton-Jones' 40-year career. Executive producer is Alan Clements, who was involved with Special Forces' Most Daring Missions, narrated by Tom Hardy, Dogs of War, Cassius X Becoming Ali, and Killing Escobar. Alan Clements, managing director of Two Rivers Media, said, "Not only is this film the story of how a young working-class man became one of the most exacting directors in the business, it tells how Hollywood embraced this driven Scot. We are delighted to have secured so much unique and exclusive material with which to tell this inspiring story. It is also fantastic to be working with Matthew and Adam, whose collective experience will be a huge asset to this project. Cinco Dedos is a film and new media production company co-founded by actor-producer Matthew Modine with producer and former Apple marketing executive Adam Rakoff. Modine and Rakoff have executive produced a number of award-winning films, documentaries and animated series. Their recent documentary, Downwind, chronicles the fallout from decades of nuclear bomb testing on American soil and is narrated by Martin Sheen and features Michael Douglas, Lewis Black and John Wayne's son, Patrick. I'm excited to have this opportunity to introduce Michael Caton-Jones' body of work to a new audience, while also reminding folks what a terrific filmmaker he is, said Matthew. Matthew played Captain Dennis Dearborn in Caton-Jones' second feature, Memphis Belle. To this day, says Matthew, Rob Roy remains one of my favourite movies of the 1990s. The end sword fight might be the most realistic ever put on film, adds Modine's producing partner Adam Rakoff. Michael Jones life and filmography deserve the documentary treatment, and I'm thrilled to help bring Joseph McLean's and Alan Clement's vision to the screen. The Caton Jones documentary is directed and produced by Joseph McLean, who has been involved with River City, Cows, Cash and Cover-Ups of particular films. He added, "This Broxburn boy's life is a celebration of the talent and determination that led Michael from his hometown to Hollywood. The calibre of talent we have on screen is a testament to Michael's success story and the relationships that he formed over the course of his career. We are delighted to have Matthew and Adam on board as executive producers, and we've already discussed some exciting plans for filming in New York and LA. Also on board are Emmy Award-winning composers Roddy Hart and Tommy Riley of Hart Riley Music, whose recent credits include the Roger Muir documentary From Roger with Love."
Silver Pair celebrate 25 years of service on the shop floor at Aldi, an article by Michael Pringle. Two members of the management teams at Aldi supermarkets in West Lothian have marked 25 years service with the retailer. Aldi Livingston store manager Kevin Regan and Linlithgow Aldi assistant store manager Emma Ross are both celebrating the remarkable milestone. Emma first joined Aldi in 2000 as a store assistant at its Fleetwood store, expecting it to be a short-term role. Kevin, 58 from Glasgow, joined as the store manager the same year after working with QuickSave. Over the past 2.5 decades, he's played a key role in the day-to-day running of the Livingston store. Reflecting on her journey, Emma said, "When I started with Aldi, I thought the job would tide me over until I found something I really wanted to do, but I actually found that here." While the years have gone by in a flash for Emma, she admits a lot has changed since she started. She added, "Back then, we had to memorise all the prices and enter them manually. No scanning, no shortcuts. It was intense, but I loved the pace and the people around me." Emma worked in stores across the country, progressing to assistant store manager and moving to Scotland in 2014. She transferred to Bathgate before making Linlithgow her home store. Last year, Emma celebrated a milestone 50th birthday with her family, a celebration made even more special after being given the all-clear from ovarian cancer. Turning 50 and being cancer-free made it a truly unforgettable moment, she admits. "I honestly couldn't have got through the diagnosis without the team at Linlithgow. They've been incredible. I've made lifelong friends here." Emma took a well-earned week off to celebrate the anniversary with her daughter and grandchildren. On her return, the Linlithgow team surprised her with a celebration party, complete with cupcakes featuring a photo of Emma from her early days at Aldi and a bottle of champagne. "It was such a lovely surprise. I wasn't expecting it at all," Emma said. "I feel very lucky to work with such a brilliant, supportive group of people. I'd like to say here's to another 25, but I'm not sure I've got it in me. Never say never." Reflecting on his early days, Kevin said, "Back when I started, the store closed at 5:30 p.m. and was shut on Sundays. The product range was a lot smaller and everything was stacked high in plain white boxes. It's amazing to see how far we've come and how we've evolved with the times. Folks come in just for a chat, and we've always had time for them. That sense of community really shines through and energises you." Kevin joked, "Being hired straight in as a store manager back in 2000 probably makes me Aldi Scotland's longest-serving store manager, which isn't bad going." Kevin is no stranger to a challenge. He has taken part in several marathons for good causes and is always looking for the next opportunity to support causes close to his heart. He ran the London Marathon last year for Teenage Cancer Trust. "We raised £2,800 and the customers were so supportive," said Kevin. "We had posters up in store and everyone really got behind it." To celebrate his 25-year milestone, Kevin is taking a change of pace and heading off for a well-earned break to enjoy a week of sunshine and relaxation. As for his top pick of Aldi products, I've had 3 or 4 of them over the years. The Aldi pressure washer, I honestly rave about it. Sandy Mitchell, Regional Managing Director, Aldi Scotland, said, "Emma's dedication, resilience and warmth make her an incredible asset to Aldi Scotland. Reaching 25 years is a fantastic achievement and her positivity and strength continue to inspire everyone around her. We're proud to have her as part of the team and wish her many more happy years with us."
He added, Kevin's dedication and commitment over the past 25 years have made a real difference, not just to his team, but to the local community too. His energy, humour and genuine connection with customers are what make him such a valued part of the Aldi Scotland family.
The next item is headed, Dawn hits out at order made by councillors, and is by Stuart Somerville. A Livingston woman has vowed to fight on against an order by councillors to tear down a fence she put up to protect her garden. Dawn Gardner accused West Lothian Council's Development Management Committee of bullying behaviour and of ignoring a decision by Scottish ministers which agreed the land belonged to her. Mrs Gardner partially won an appeal to the Scottish Government last year and had to retrospectively apply for new permission to keep the fence. She told the Local Democracy Reporting Service that the fence had been put up to stop persistent dogfouling and littering over the area of land beside her home. The corner site is in her title deeds and she has to maintain it, as did the previous owner of the house in Waverley Crescent. Before the fence was put up, the land was frequently used as a shortcut by some, and the last straw for Mrs Gardner was seeing drunks urinating against a garden wall just feet from her back door. Mrs Gardner paid thousands of pounds to have the area fenced off to create more privacy around her home. While most of the fence is low enough to be allowed as permitted, in one area, one section is just inches above the height permitted. Council planning officers told a meeting of the DMC that while they did not fully agree with the Scottish Government's reporter's partial upholding of the appeal, they did recommend retrospective planning permission for the fence, along with planning permission to build a double garage within the garden of the house, be approved. Aileyburn Community Council complained last year about the enclosure of open space, and it reiterated that when Steve Egan appeared before the committee. He said, the Community Council's objection was to the loss of open space. Why have stated policies and not follow them? The officer's report is wholly silent on this. An agent for Mrs Gardner said Mr Egan had an unhealthy obsession with the issue of open space around Mrs Gardner's house, adding she had fenced in land she owned to protect her home against criminal behaviour. However, councillors did not like the fence. Councillor George Paul said, the quality of finish is very poor. I don't think it's very aesthetic to the area. Councillor Pauline Stafford said, it appears that the fence is in breach of planning legislation. The height of the fence detracts from the streetscape, which most other properties have an open aspect. Chairing the meeting, Councillor Tony Boyle said the fence was really intrusive. He added, I note there are no objections from neighbouring householders, but that's beside the point. Having sought clarification from planning and legal officers, the DMC agreed to grant permission for the garage, but refused permission for the fence. After the meeting, a furious Mrs Gardner told the LDRS, a new appeal goes in tomorrow. She added, the councillors took no notice of what the Scottish ministers said. They didn't even listen to the planning officer. Referring to the councillors, she said, they were making really personal remarks. There's nothing wrong with the fence. I thought it was bullying. There was not one decision based on fact. It was all personal opinion. They didn't even look at what the minister said. Mrs Gardner said she had the support of surrounding neighbours who have told her the fence is better than the unkempt open ground previously there. As for the objection, Aileyburn Community Council didn't even discuss it. It was never on their agenda, she added.
Livy shoppers putting the pieces together. Livingston has been revealed as the biggest buyer of jigsaws as it tops a shopping poll of nearly 700 charity shops across the UK. The British Heart Foundation, BHF Scotland, announced today that its second-hand shop in the centre sold an impressive 1,890 jigsaws in just 12 months, helping to raise funds for its vital heart research. The announcement comes as new research into retail habits from BHF found that we have become a nation of pre-loved shoppers, with 78% of the Scottish public now regularly shopping second-hand. The reuse, reduce, recycle generation of mindful shoppers is becoming more cost-savvy and environmentally conscious, with a quarter, 27% of shoppers in Scotland choosing pre-loved every week. The results of a new survey commissioned by the British Heart Foundation, which has 680 shops across the UK, including 68 in Scotland, found 4 in 10 of those surveyed, 45%, now look to see if they can buy something second-hand before buying it new, with more than a third, 41% of Scottish shoppers choosing to wait for a second-hand find rather than splashing out on buying an item new. On average, consumers surveyed shop second-hand 4 times per month. Michelle Armstrong, Livingston BHF Store General Manager, said, "It is amazing to think that we sell the most jigsaws in the UK. We knew that there was a high turnover, but we never realised it was that high. Who would have guessed that Livingston is such a hot spot for puzzlers?" Our incredible staff and volunteers check out all of the donations that come in and make sure the display is constantly stocked. We are always looking for donations for our entertainment section as well as the rest of the shop. So I hope this inspires people to have a clear out and donate any of their unwanted games, toys, books, and of course puzzles. Shop and donate with the British Heart Foundation and become part of the reuse revolution this spring. Visit www.bfhf.org.uk.
This article is titled Winchborough Easter Event, and it's by Ross Thompson. Almost 3,000 people packed Winchborough's Old Cathy Park for an Easter extravaganza. Some 2,800 people enjoyed egg hunts, stilt walkers, ice cream and face painting in an action-packed series of events in the heart of Scotland's fastest-growing town. The much-loved annual event attracted 1,600 guests last year, and its growing popularity reflects the excellent organisation of Winchborough Community Growing Group, with generous financial support from Winchborough Developments Limited, WDL, and local house builders. Group member John West said, "There was fun for all the family. Of course, the brilliant Easter sunny weather helped everyone have a great time. There was a constant flow of people in the park throughout the day for the toddlers and family egg hunts, food and drink stalls, and much more. The event, which was one of a regular series of community events in the town, also featured a live DJ, balloon art, demonstrations by D-Side Willow, and a plant sale by Mo from the RHS. Penny Lochhead, Community Sport and Green Space Manager for WDL, said, "It's been an amazing start to the year for the Winchborough growers, who had the growing area looking fabulous for Easter. We are delighted to continue our support for the growers and the Winchborough Wombles. The volunteers' hard work provides a sanctuary for the community in the heart of Winchborough, and they host so many wonderful events such as this one, which bring everyone together. We're so lucky to be part of a community that embraces a village mentality when it comes to community events for all ages of people, but that also offers all the benefits of a town through its infrastructure and amenities," added John Hamilton, CEO of Town Master Planner, WDL. Congratulations go to John West and his team of excellent volunteers for laying on another fun-filled weekend for a record-breaking number of local people to enjoy. And there's some nice photographs of a lovely sunny day with blue skies and people surrounded by all the plants that are in the park.
This next article is entitled Guide Dogs Group Event Makes Every Cuppa Count, and it's written by Michael Pringle. A fundraising event for a guide dogs group in West Lothian featured a fantastic demonstration on the outstanding abilities of the canine companions. Guide Dogs West Lothian fundraising group held its now annual coffee morning on Friday, April 11th at the Chain Runner in Livingston as part of their annual Make Every Cuppa Count event. Guide Dogs staff, volunteers and guests had a lovely morning, with the highlight being the demonstration by events demonstration team leader Mark Richards and his dog Lainey. Mark and Lainey are part of a team who help deliver a programme of creative demonstrations that engage and inspire audiences across the UK. The events demonstration team attend flagship and high-profile events such as Crufts, Goodwood and National Corporate Partner Days. The coffee morning was held to raise vital funds for training dogs and also to provide a better understanding of the services available to people with a visual impairment. Chris Collier, Group Coordinator of Guide Dogs West Lothian fundraising group, said, "We had guests interested in becoming puppy raisers as well as volunteering. It was a lovely sunny occasion and thanks to our supporters we raised £242.26. Our thanks to everyone who came along and to manager Stephen and the staff at the Chain Runner for their continual support. If you would like further information on our services or how you can offer support, then please go to www.guidedogs.org.uk. And the article is accompanied by many pictures of the guide dogs and the volunteers.
And that brings us to the end of part 1. Welcome back to part 2, and we'll begin with the family announcements and then continue with the general news.
Alison Margaret née Henry, Galashiels, formerly Bathgate. Peacefully on Monday the 14th of April 2025 in the Margaret Care Unit, Borders General Hospital, Margaret, beloved wife of the late William, devoted mum of Patricia, William and John, much loved granny, sister, aunt and friend to many. Funeral to be held on Thursday the 8th of May 2025 in St Mary's RC Church, Bathgate at 9:30 a.m, to which all family and friends are warmly invited. Committal thereafter in Boghead Cemetery, Bathgate. McPhee Mary Jeanette Livingston. Peacefully at home on Sunday the 20th of April 2025, aged 88 years. Jeanette will be sadly missed by all family and friends.
Keeping the memory of Keris alive with love and cheer. And this article is by Jacob Farr. A West Lothian family who lost their 2-year-old daughter suddenly in the night are continuing to keep her memory alive. Keris Mitchell, who was born with special needs, tragically lost her life on January the 4th, a night which parents Steph, aged 31, and Donnie Mitchell, aged 32, described as a normal night. The Bathgate parents decided to check in on their daughter shortly after midnight, but their world fell apart when they realised she was no longer breathing. Pathologists believe that Keris died from sudden, unexplained death in childhood following an inconclusive post-mortem. After Keris's funeral, the parents described feeling alone with their grief, and so they decided to try to channel it into something positive. They described their daughter as loving Christmas and Easter, which led to them initially doing Santa visits in Wester Inch, as well as gifting flowers to local cemeteries during the festive period. Steph and Denny raised money for charity and handed out gifts to kids on their street, while also paying a special visit to Keris's cemetery as Santa. They planned to stick with honouring her memory at Christmas, but as Easter approached, the pair felt it would be fitting to do something to mark the occasion for sweet-toothed Keris and to support grieving families. "It is a struggle since she passed," Steph said. "Her birthday fell just 11 days after she died, which meant she was still in the mortuary and could not do anything for it. But we have always done something special afterwards to mark her heavenly birthdays. This year we did a balloon release. Keris had the biggest sweet tooth and absolutely loved Christmas and Easter, and that is what motivated us to really do the Christmas project and now Easter. We found it is important to stay busy and to do something positive with our grief. When Keris passed away and the funeral was over, everything sort of disappeared, and you are left to deal with the grief as a family, which can be lonely. She had so much love for everyone. We thought, how can we spread her love and memory to create a lasting legacy? So we decided to do something for other grieving families, to show them they are not alone. Ultimately, it is about showing there is kindness in such a cruel world. Steph and Donnie described speaking to their funeral directors at the time, who advised they perhaps look at the different gravestones available. This led them to realising just how many young people are in cemeteries across West Lothian. As part of their effort to support other grieving families, the couple left a bucket of flowers outside the cemetery with a message saying they are not alone. As well as this, hundreds of plastic bunnies were also placed in the bucket for families to place by their loved ones' graves. The realisation was totally gut-wrenching, and it is not how the world should work, Steph added. Originally, we were not going to do anything for Easter, but as it approached, we decided to go for it. We picked 4 cemeteries in West Lothian to stay within our budget and put in around half a dozen flowers to each cemetery entrance bucket, alongside hundreds of plastic bunnies. By lunchtime, we found they had all gone, and we began topping up the flowers, as we did not want anyone to miss out. We just wanted to spread some Easter cheer for Keris. The bus driver couple were inundated with praise from friends, neighbours and strangers for their kind act. Steph says she hopes the charitable acts can continue to keep Keris's name alive in their community. Everyone absolutely loved it, Steph said. We just wanted to make a difference for 1 or 2 families, so it was nice to feel mission accomplished. The amount of love and support which has been shown to us with people returning the favour by leaving flowers at Keris's grave. She had so many visitors this Easter. Everyone knows her name now. The community never got a chance to know her, but she had such a big heart and loved everyone. This keeps her alive. It is amazing our community still gains from her love, and she has been able to leave a positive legacy behind. We want other grieving families to know that regardless of how much time has passed since they lost their loved one, they are not alone. The couple, who are also parents to Keris's 4 siblings, organised the Easter event off their own back, without fundraising or asking for any donations. The duo have vowed to return this Christmas to honour their beloved daughter. And there's a very nice picture of Keris playing at being a doctor.
Dad was born 3 months early and had a stroke in his cot. Now he is living best life. Jamie is capped 60 times for Scotland. This is an article by Jacob Farr. A West Lothian dad has shared his inspirational story of achieving his dreams after being diagnosed with cerebral palsy. Jamie Mitchell, 28, was born 3 months premature alongside his twin brother Lewis. The brothers had to stay in the Royal Infirmary of Edinburgh for 6 months after their birth, with the pair weighing just over £1 each when they were delivered. Jamie explained he ended up with complications that his twin did not have at birth. After being let out of the hospital, disaster struck for Jamie and his family when he was blue lighted to the sick kids after he stopped breathing and suffered a stroke in his cot. As a result of his turbulent start in the world, Jamie has lived with cerebral palsy all his life. But he is proud of the fact that he has never let it hold him back, as he pushed himself to keep up with his more physically able twin and classmates. Fast forward to today, and Jamie is now living in his hometown with his fiancée Eve and 1-year-old daughter Maeva. Not only this, but the lab worker is also a Scottish international who has won over 60 caps for his country and has won a world championship for Scotland's cerebral palsy team. My twin brother and I were born 3 months premature, he said. I was born £1.2 and my brother was £1.4. We were in the hospital for 6 months, and after a couple of weeks being at home, I stopped breathing in my cot and suffered a stroke. I got blue lighted to St John's and then Sick Kids and was later diagnosed with cerebral palsy. My brother never ended up with any of the health issues after our complicated birth, but I did. And for as long as I can remember, I've had a disability. It was not until I turned 4 that I was able to walk. Before that, my brother would just push me around everywhere in a little red cart. I was really lucky, as my dad and Gran would take me to private physio 3 to 4 times a week, where I'd do excessive stretching and muscle building sessions. It really helped my cerebral palsy, especially with my hands and legs. It's funny when you're younger and you see your brother doing all these things at a higher level than you. It did feel unfair. I remember arguing with my dad and grandparents about it. I'd get jealous of my brother playing for better teams when it came to sports. But I was never discriminated against or made to feel any different. I obviously knew something was different, as I'd get regular operations and have to wear splints, which my brother didn't. I'd get more tired than him when we were running about, and being a twin, you always compare yourself. He was definitely the better footballer then, but I am now. Teachers and other pupils were great, as I was never treated differently and I was one of the better players for our school team, despite my disability. I think since I was good at PE, I was all right, no one bullied me. Jamie explained how the splints and physio helped his cerebral palsy and ensured his arms and legs were not as badly impacted as they could have been. But as he became a teenager, he noticed his coordination was not at the level of his brother or his peers. Despite his physical difficulties, his dad would never let him use it as an excuse, pushing him to adapt and cope, something Jamie said he's extremely grateful for. When I was younger, I'd struggle to pick things up with my left hand, but my dad would never let me feel down about it or use it as an excuse. He added, "You were encouraged to adapt." Having an able-bodied brother, I just wanted to be the exact same. I never wanted my disability to limit me. Jamie ended up being noticed when he was playing against his brother's team when they were around 14 years old. Greg Taylor, who coached his brother and was also the technical director for the cerebral palsy national team, spotted Jamie playing with a limp. He approached the team and asked him if he would ever consider trying out for the national side, but he was reluctant. I wasn't up for it at first, he said, but then I showed up and was given a Scotland kit and told to meet the guys. I was a 14-year-old entering a team of grown men, but I'd never seen anything like it. All the sessions were planned out and you got physio with all the equipment, meal plans, it was professional. I remember playing with them for the first time and thinking, these guys are quality. I got selected to play in Dublin, but it was scary. I'd never left my dad before. It improved me so much as a player and it meant a lot to play for Scotland. At high school, I wasn't picked for the best teams like my brother, and that absolutely killed me. Now I'm sitting on 66 caps, having scored in the World Championship final and won the tournament for Scotland. Jamie said he had not only improved as a footballer, but he'd also learned valuable life skills representing his country. He's now looking towards the European Championship later this year, but he has argued that the cerebral palsy team does not get the support or recognition it deserves. It's hard to put into words how much it means to me to play for Scotland, he said. It is my life, my main priorities are my family and my football. People don't see the other side of it. I have a weekly routine where I'm up early, off to work, being a dad and a husband, but also have to train all the time and follow regimented meal plans. It's not something you get into if you're not committed. My wife sometimes jokes when I go off to camp or a competition that I'm away on holiday, but the reality is if I'm not playing or training, then I'm recovering or sleeping. People think we just show up and have a disability kick about, but the standard is unbelievably high. I've done things kids our ages dream of. I've captained my country against England and at the Euros, scored a goal in a World Championship final and played in 3 major finals for my country. How many Scots can say that? We must be up there with one of the most successful Scottish football teams in history. Although it bothers me, we have to fundraise to represent our country. With our success, why do we have to ask our family, friends and local businesses to support us? How is that acceptable? Because we have a disability, we are treated differently, in my opinion. Despite his own grit and determination taking him to 66 international caps, Jamie is adamant he would not be where he is today if not for the support of his family. He thanked his brother Lewis, dad Mark and his late grands Anne and Christine, as well as his wife and daughter for sacrificing to help him get to where he is today. Me and my brother had a rough childhood, so it was always me, my dad and my brother and our grands, he said. They all helped me so much. Also, if I did not have the partner I have, there is no way I could do this. She's so supportive of me and understands this is something I need to do. We know it will end one day as I'm not getting any younger, but she thinks while I'm able, she will support it. I owe everything to her and my family. Jamie and his teammates will have to raise $1,500 in order to be able to compete at the Euros. To support Jamie's GoFundMe, log into https://www.gofundme.com/F/ZAB8K-European-Championships-2025 ?
The next item is headed Many Questions Still Unanswered, Claims New Kirsty Podcast, and is by Jennifer Hyland. A podcast examining the case of Kirsty Maxwell, who died in mysterious circumstances in Spain, hopes to see the 5 men who saw her alive finally come forward with answers. Newlywed Kirsty fell to her death from a Benidorm hotel balcony in 2017 after a night out during a hen do. Kirsty, 27, from Livingston, had mistakenly entered a 10th floor apartment occupied by 5 British men, Joseph Graham, Ricky Gammon, Anthony Holhouse, Callum Northridge and Daniel Bailey, before she died. They were cleared as homicide suspects in July 2020 after judges ruled there was no strong evidence of criminality and nothing to indicate she had not jumped to her own death. However, Kirsty's devastated parents were adamant she did not jump of her own free will. Now, 6-part podcast, What Happened to Kirsty Maxwell, examines the case and appeals for information. True crime podcaster Naomi Channel, who narrates and produced the series, told the Sunday Mail, "I don't think it was a tragic accident. She was escaping from something. All the evidence backs that up. There are still so many unanswered questions. It will, in hope, put pressure on the authorities and on those who were in the apartment but have never been properly investigated." Naomi met Kirsty's family at a UK CrimeCon convention in 2023. She attended with Sue Horan, the wife of Stuart Lubbock, who died under suspicious circumstances at the home of television personality Michael Barrymore in 2001. In her podcast, she tells how when Kirsty arrived with friends at the apartments, a shirtless man approached them at the lift and started speaking to them. She said he made them feel wary and uncomfortable. After a night out, Kirsty, who had consumed alcohol but did not have any drugs in her system, returned to the apartments early in the morning. For reasons unclear, she woke up, went to the 10th floor and knocked on the door of room 10E, which was shared by the 5 men, including the shirtless man, who were all from the Nottingham area. One of them told police Kirsty tried to climb through a small window in the bathroom before running through the apartment window, jumping over the Juliet balcony to her death. Naomi said Kirsty fell at 7:51 and died instantly. One of the men told police he witnessed her fall and that the shirtless man was Joseph Graham and one of the group. Kirsty's husband Adam, whom she married just 8 months earlier, got a call from Spanish police to say that she had died and he had to break the news to her mum Denise. Her dad, Brian Curry, 66, said, "Even to this day, you don't want to believe it. It's really hard." The podcast explores how Kirsty's family travelled to Benidorm to launch their own investigation 3 months after her death, after hitting a wall of silence from police. Podcaster Naomi from Essex said, "No parent should ever have to investigate their own child's death." Brian requested 12 hours of footage that spanned before and after Kirsty's death, but police only gave them 7 minutes of edited footage. A dramatic 3-second clip from a camera at the poolside shows Kirsty hitting the floor, but it doesn't show her fall. Brian believes someone edited that footage. Investigators say the rest of the CCTV has gone missing. The police were forced to admit they destroyed the clothing the day after Kirsty died. Her clothing could have been crucial evidence. They said it was because the clothing was covered in blood. They admitted it was only examined by eye. Retired Strathclyde detective David Swindle, who set up Victims Abroad, was shocked at the flaws in the probe. He said, Spanish police didn't follow up exhaustive inquiries regarding evidence, like independent witnesses, and they didn't progress forensics or CCTV footage. These men were not properly interviewed. They were not separated. There were issues with DNA. They didn't take samples, and they destroyed Kirsty's clothing. In all my years as an investigator, I could not believe it. If we had all that, we would be in a better position to know exactly what happened to Kirsty. The podcast was out on April 29th on Spotify, Apple Podcasts and Amazon, and marks 8 years since Kirsty's death.
This article is titled Tech Sector is Out of This World by Stuart Somerville. Technology vital to the exploration of Mars and the advancement of satellite communication has become a thriving industry in West Lothian. The county now has the largest cluster of photonics businesses in Scotland. Photonics is the science and technology of using light, lasers and fibre optics and has developed locally over the last 4 decades. Among the firms leading the way locally is Altair UK in Livingston, who provided key electronic components to the NASA Mars Perseverance rover, which landed on Mars in 2020. The photonics businesses are at the forefront of innovation, with links to semiconductors, electronics and advanced manufacturing. Other significant West Lothian employers in these sectors are aligned with photonics and increase local economic growth. A meeting of the Council's Economy, Community Empowerment and Wealth Building, PDSP, heard about the developments in an update from the Council Business Development Team. Jim Henderson, the Council's Business Development Manager, told the local Democracy Reporting Service, the West Lothian economy benefits from long-term investment in the photonics sector. University spin-outs and high-growth startups have made West Lothian their investment location of choice for more than 40 years. For example, both Edinburgh Instruments and Helia Photonics were founded by senior academics at Heriot-Watt University. The evolving nature of high-technology firms sees Altair Technology, formerly Optocap, continue to expand its scale of operation at their Livingston HQ. Photonics businesses are at the forefront of innovation, with links to semiconductors, electronics and advanced manufacturing. Other significant West Lothian employers in these sectors are aligned with photonics and increase local economic growth. The firm provides precision manufacturing for a wide range of semiconductor-based photonic and electronic technologies. The company has been based at Bain Square, Livingston since 2003 and currently employs 45 full-time equivalents within this site. As part of their strategic growth objectives, Altair UK plan to make a £5 million investment in a new photonics design centre to help the company develop their own state-of-the-art photonics products alongside their current service-based offering. One of the key flagship products to be developed is a space-grade optical transceiver, which will be a key component for data transfer and communications. Altair UK were awarded a Jobs Task Force grant of £100,000. To help them recruit a further 9 new staff, all as part of a multi-million-pound strategic investment in their Livingston HQ. The business has worked closely with Business Gateway and Scottish Enterprise over the longer term. Alto UK has also recently benefited from training support from Flexible Workforce Development Fund and engagement with Heriot-Watt University. Mr. Henderson added, the value of photonics at a local and national level is exemplified by the recent award of a $4.7 million to scale up the sector. The funding was received from the Engineering and Physical Sciences Research Council, EPSRC, part of UK Research and Innovation. The work, known as the Photonics and Quantum Accelerator, PQA, brings together researchers from the University of Glasgow, Strathclyde, Heriot-Watt and St Andrews, local authority and industry bodies to advance the growth of the photonics sector across Scotland's Central Belt.
This article is about development in Kirknewton. The village of Kirknewton will see another 48 new homes developed, despite concerns over the pressure on local services being caused by the growing population. The Bathgate firm of C.C. Drummond has won permission in principle to develop a 5-acre site bounding Roosevelt Road and the railway line running through the village with bespoke housing, including bungalows. West Lothian Council's Development Management Committee heard that the site is part of a larger area that first won permission for development in 2021. However, objectors voiced new concerns about the pressures on existing medical facilities. It was a point raised by local councillor, Conservative group leader Damien Doran-Timpson, who asked, "We haven't received NHS data for East Calder medical practice. Is that something NHS would provide, or is that something we would request?" Andrew Cotton said, "We in the Development Planning and Environmental team are engaging with NHS Lothian to develop the required data that would be needed to take contributions towards development. We are looking to get enough detail on that." Councillor Doran-Timpson said, "Surely, as a council, we are fully aware that East Calder medical practice, the condition of the building, the size of the building, is not fit for purpose and is way oversubscribed with patients." Mr. Cotton replied, "We don't yet have sufficient data to specify where there are shortages. At East Calder medical practice, we know that there are issues with the existing building. We know that there's issues with the services delivered there. But it is a question of quantifying that and working out what the ways of delivering additional capacity and costs would be." He added that this could include changing the way services are delivered and/or rental of more property to deliver the services. Developer contributions could not be used to resolve existing problems. These are for the Scottish Government and NHS Lothian to resolve, said Mr. Cotton. Robin Matthew, a planning agent for the house builder, said, "They will design bespoke houses in accordance with the council's guidance. The house types will meet the guidance, and then other elements such as acoustic fencing will be taken in a detailed design stage."
Hands-on planting experience. This May, Dobie's Garden Centres is hosting a new hands-on planting and afternoon tea experience at its Livingston store. The event will combine an exclusive afternoon tea with a seasonal planting workshop inspired by the RHS Chelsea Garden Show and Dobie's 160-year heritage. The Heritage Planting and Afternoon Tea will take place during the week of the RHS Chelsea Flower Show on May the 20th and May the 24th. Taking place in the Livingston store, this event will give guests the perfect opportunity to create their very own bespoke planted container and enjoy an afternoon tea. Attendees will enjoy a 90-minute experience where they will join Dobby's Green Team in the plant area for a seasonally relevant planting demonstration and question and answer session. Each guest will receive a limited edition 160 Heritage Dobby's pot and a selection of seasonal plants, carefully chosen to reflect the spirit of the RHS Chelsea Flower Show, which they will plant up and take home. Customers will then make their way to the restaurant to enjoy a traditional heritage afternoon tea, which has been carefully curated in honour of celebrating Dobby's 160th birthday, and features 3 tiers of sweet and savoury delights, including Dobby's famous scones plus unlimited tea and coffee refills. Claire Bishop, Dobby's senior houseplant buyer and chair of assessors at the RHS Chelsea Garden Show, said, "We're excited to be celebrating 160 years of helping British gardeners to grow by bringing this new event to our Livingston store. Our planting and afternoon tea events have been really popular with our customers, and it's been fantastic to have one that celebrates RHS Chelsea Flower Show. Tickets for the heritage planting and afternoon tea experience at the Livingston store are £45 per person. For more information and to book on Dobby's events, visit www.dobbys.com/events.
And that brings us to the end of part 2. Welcome back to part 3, which includes the quiz. Remember to listen in at the beginning of part 4 for the answers to the quiz. And here we go. There are 10 questions, so brains engaged. Cockany, there's a couple of tricky ones today. Number 1. Which American novelist created the detective Mike Hammer? A. Mickey Spillane, B. Dashiell Hammett, C. Robert Bloch. Number 2. The word porcine, Porcine, relates to which animal? A. Pig, B. Sheep, C. Goat. Number 3. Which former England footballer is known as Golden Balls? A. Steven Gerrard, B. David Beckham, C. Frank Lampard. Number 4. In which English city does the Great North Run Half Marathon start? A. Sunderland, B. Carlisle, C. Newcastle. Number 5. Who wrote A Farewell to Arms and The Old Man in the Sea? A. William Faulkner, B. Ernest Hemingway, C. John Steinbeck. Number 6. Which country won the inaugural Rugby Union World Cup in 1987? A. Wales, B. Australia, C. New Zealand. Number 7. In Britain, which unit of liquid measure is equal to 4.55 litres? A. Gallon, B. Quart, C. Gill. Number 8. What is the longest river in China? A. Yellow River, B. Yangtze, C. Pearl River. Number 9. Who was the supreme god of the ancient Greeks? A. Apollo, B. Zeus, C. Hades. And number 10. Which drink is mixed with lager to make snakebite? A. Lemonade, B. Cider, C. Champagne. And for a little extra challenge, our word challenge today. These words may sound familiar, but do you know what they mean? The first word is wincey, W-I-N-C-E-Y. Does it mean A. a type of cloth, B. intense pain, or C. crank of a wooden wheel? And the second word, pennyroyal, all one word, P-E-N-N-Y-R-O-Y-A-L. Does it mean A. Monday money, B. something given as security, or C. a species of mint? Good luck, everyone. And now back to the general news.
This article is by Natasha Hall and it's about Susan Boyle recalls the song for the Pope. West Lothian singing sensation Susan Boyle has paid a touching and emotional tribute to Pope Francis following his sad passing on Easter Monday. The Britain's Got Talent star made a poignant address on social media in a video message. R.I.P. Pope Francis, it was the honour and privilege of my life to sing for you, a man for all seasons, she captioned the heartfelt video message which she shared with her 131,000 followers. Fans soon flooded the comment section. In the video clip, she described the moment as being an honour and a privilege of my life to have had the opportunity to sing for the late Pope back in 2019. One person penned, "It was an honour to hear you sing for the Pope." The 88-year-old passed away on Easter Monday after battling illness for months. His death was confirmed on Monday, just hours after he blessed Easter crowds at the Vatican the previous day. A statement released by Cardinal Kevin Farrell said, at 7:35 this morning, the Bishop of Rome, Francis, returned to the home of the Father. His entire life was dedicated to the service of the Lord and His Church. He taught us to live the values of the gospel and faithfulness, courage, and universal love, especially for the poorest and most marginalised. With immense gratitude for his example as a true disciple of the Lord Jesus, we recommend the soul of Pope Francis to the merciful love of God. The Pope's cause of death was confirmed as stroke and subsequent irreversible heart failure. He has been remembered as someone full of compassion, mercy, and irrepressible hope. Mourners gathered in their thousands to honour the late pontiff yesterday, with crowds spilling onto the streets of Rome and the Vatican City. Susan Boyle has said meeting Pope Francis was a humbling experience ahead of her performance in the Vatican's annual Christmas concert back in 2019. The Scottish star from Blackburn performed alongside the likes of Lionel Blair and Bonnie Tyler. Boyle said it was a huge honour to meet Pope Francis at the Vatican. To be at the Vatican meeting the Pope was such a humbling experience, and to be asked to take part in his Christmas concert was a true honour. I have to pinch myself at how lucky I am, and 10 years on I'm still having the most fantastic time with these incredible opportunities. I don't and I won't ever take this for granted.
Mystery is solved for taxi driver, and it's an article by Iona Young. A spooked taxi driver was left shaken after spotting a white lady ghost on the side of the road, but locals have been left in stitches at the truth about the apparent apparition. Tex Marshalsea couldn't believe his eyes as he spotted the figure clad in a flowing white dress casually walking along the pavement as he took a fare home along Alderstone Road in Livingston on Monday night. The cabbie was left questioning his sanity as he passed by the unknown entity twice and spotted a cloak and a wooden staff in her hands. West Lothian has had its fair share of paranormal activity in the past, with UFO sightings, the White Lady of Howden House, and Sir Thomas DL, otherwise known as the notorious Bloody Tam, who is said to haunt the House of the Bins. Could one of the trapped souls from the region's centuries of horror history, struggling to move on to the afterlife, have strolled into the city centre for a late-night pop to the shops? Turns out a local resident who works as a ghost tour guide in Edinburgh sometimes travels home in her costume, complete with terrifying makeup. The bizarre exchange unfolded when Tex Marshalsea took to Facebook with a grainy image of the White Lady and wrote, "Is there a Renaissance fair in town? Or did me and my passenger imagine this? My passenger took the photo while the car was moving. We saw this person twice walking down Alderstone Road. They were wearing a long white dress, some kind of cloak, a wooden staff, and what looked like black and white face paint. I'm going to go back round again to get a better look, and I'm still none the wiser. Before the sceptics and avid ghost hunters of West Lothian could wade in with their own theories for the incident, local mum Louise Macbeth cleared up the confusion with a hilarious explanation. Louise said, "Oh, geez, I thought this might happen at some point. That's me. Don't panic. You've not seen a ghost." Well, not really. I'm a theatrical ghost tour guide in Edinburgh, and I get the train home after work. I finish late, so I wear my costume home sometimes after a long day. It means creeps, ironic I know, will also be more likely to stay away from me, as it's not the safest walking home at night. Apologies if I've scared everyone. I honestly can't stop laughing at this. Just call me the White Lady of Alderstone Road. To which Tex replied, "Thanks for clearing this up. I was all set for tomorrow's drive. You've spoiled it, because I was going to drive by the same time, same place to see if I could see you again." Locals who watched the mystery being solved in the online comments were in stitches.
Pensioner payout is welcomed. Amman Valley MSP Angela Constance has welcomed the rollout of a new payment for pensioners by the Scottish Government. The Pension Age Disability Payment, PADP, was introduced by Holyrood to replace attendance allowance. The payment is for people of state pension age living with a disability or long-term health condition. While attendance allowance only classes those with terminal illness as eligible to receive support if they are expected to live for 12 months or less, PADP classes terminally ill people as eligible regardless of how long they are expected to live. The payment, which is not means tested, is paid either at a higher rate of £441 a month or a lower rate of £295 a month. Under PADP, terminally ill recipients are automatically entitled to the highest level of payment, which is not the case under attendance allowance. Ms Constance said, "The launch of the Pension Age Disability Payment marks an important milestone for pensioners in Scotland, providing vital support for those living with disabilities or long-term health conditions. This new benefit reflects our commitment to treating people with dignity, fairness and respect. By automatically awarding the higher rate to those with a terminal illness, we are ensuring that support reaches those who need it most without unnecessary barriers. I encourage all eligible residents in Amman Valley to apply and take advantage of the assistance available through Social Security Scotland. You can apply for Pension Age Disability Payment online or by phone and paper application. To check your eligibility and apply, visit mygov.scot/pension-age-disability-payment, or for help with your application, call Social Security Scotland free on 0800 182 2222. You do not need to make a new application for Pension Age Disability Payment if you already get attendance allowance.
This next item is headed "Prison to be prosecuted over death" and is by the staff reporter. Scotland's most senior law officer met with the family of a man who say their son died alone in his prison cell after testing positive for COVID-19 and announced a prosecution against West Lothian Jail. Callum Ingalls, 34, was serving a short sentence in HMP Addiewell in West Lothian when he tested positive for COVID-19 on October the 12th, 2021. He was asthmatic and unvaccinated and died on October the 24th after his health deteriorated rapidly, his family alleged. During the 12-day period, he was not seen by a nurse and reported being breathless and coughing up significant amounts of blood, they said. It is alleged that in the last 4 days of his life, he repeatedly requested medical attention via his cell intercom and was promised by prison officers that someone would come and see him in the morning, but nobody came. On October the 24th, 2021, Callum was found unresponsive in his cell. He died alone, without help, without dignity, according to his family's solicitor, Amar Anwar. Mr Anwar said, "The family have previously called for the criminal prosecution of Addiewell Prison for the treatment of Callum Ingalls. Addiewell because it is a private prison, has no Crown immunity. HMP Addiewell is a private prison run by Sodexo Justice Services on behalf of the Scottish Prison Service. The family and Mr Anwar met the Lord Advocate last week at the Crown Office in Edinburgh. Speaking outside the Scottish COVID inquiry in October 2023, Callum Ingall's father, Alan Ingalls, said, "Callum was unvaccinated and asthmatic. Within the next 12 days, Callum's health would deteriorate rapidly. Throughout this entire period, he was not seen by anyone. He reported being breathless and coughing up blood. In the last 4 days of his life, he repeatedly requested medical attention, to be promised by the prison officers that someone would come to see him. On the morning of October 24, 2021, 2 years today, my son was found unresponsive in his cell. He died alone, without help, without dignity." The Scottish COVID inquiry must find out which protocols the prison were following at this time, protocols that would allow such barbaric behaviour to take place, and to examine the staff work culture within that prison, where staff must have known how ill my son was, yet did nothing. I'm looking for accountability and looking to this inquiry to deliver it. Last Wednesday, it was announced that a prosecution of HMP Addiewell would take place after a meeting between the Ingalls family and Lord Advocate Dorothy Bain, KC, and the Crown Office in Edinburgh. Following the meeting, Mr Anwar said, "The family are grateful to the Lord Advocate for giving them hope of justice. Today, she told them she has instructed a criminal prosecution of Addiewell Prison run by Sodexo Limited and Lothian Health Board for their alleged failures to properly manage the medical care of Callum Ingalls. Today is historic, as it will be the first prosecution of a private prison in Scotland, but also one of the first prosecutions relating to 6,000 COVID deaths reported to the Crown Office, including 15 prison deaths. Callum was 34 when he contracted COVID as a prisoner at Addiewell Prison in October 2021. On October 24, 2021, he was found lying dead after being left alone to suffer a slow and agonising death. The family hope that their love for him and the relentless campaign they have fought for him will leave a lasting legacy."
This article by Michael Pringle is headed "Disastrous Schemes, Fault of Tories and Labour." Amman Valley MSP Angela Constance has blamed Labour and the Tories for disastrous construction schemes that are accounting for almost a fifth of council tax spending. PFI, Private Finance Initiative, and PPP, Public-Private Partnership schemes are expected to cost residents in West Lothian $18.6 million in 2025-26. PFI and PPP are a method of funding that was used for public projects where private businesses build infrastructure like schools, hospitals and roads, with the public sector then paying a monthly charge to those businesses for the construction and services. However, the approach has caused significant problems in Scotland as the public continues to pay for projects, in some cases paying above the odds for subpar infrastructure, while private businesses make the substantial profits. The SNP scrapped the scheme after coming to power, replacing it with the non-profit distribution model, which capped private profits at 5%. But now analysis has shown that a shocking 19.4% of West Lothian's council tax intake was spent on PFI, PPI in 2023-24. As councils across Scotland make difficult decisions on council tax, Angela Constance MSP, who is Scotland's Minister for Justice and Home Affairs, highlighted the continual cost of the Labour and Tory PFI scheme to local taxpayers. She said, "We've known for quite some time now that PPI is costing the public an unnecessary amount of money. 17.56 million in 2023-24, a shocking 19.4% of the council tax intakes in the same year, and predicted to rise to 18.6 million next year. That is why the Scottish Government scrapped it. But these contracts are still in place, costing the Scottish public over £500,000 this year. To make matters worse, rumours are circulating that UK Chancellor Rachel Reeves could be set to reintroduce the PFI across the UK. We know that public finances are stretched as it is, with council tax rates set to rise this year due to the scandal that is PFI. Don't let Labour make it even worse."
This is another article about new homes being built in West Lothian. It's an article by Stuart Somerville. Plans to build new homes in a former timber yard and rail sidings in Linlithgow have been given the go-ahead. Developers promise to engage with neighbours who have voiced fears about flood risk from the redevelopment of the site, which sits on elevated land above their Falkirk Road homes. The council's flood risk officers said planned drainage and an SUDS system would actually improve water runoff, with developed kerbing directing water into new drainage gullies. Local councillor Pauline Orr spoke on behalf of two neighbours who feared flood risk and overshadowing from trees planted on the plans for the site. She told the Development Management Committee that her constituents had no objections to the redevelopment of the brownfield site. However, they had no contact from the developers, All Walk Limited, when they tried to raise concerns. The site has been earmarked for up to 18 homes. Planning officers had recommended the proposals with conditions to build 13 homes. Councillor Tom Conn sought reassurances on flood risk and that planned tree planting could be replaced with hedging to reduce the overshadowing of the Falkirk Road homes. He said the overall design should reflect the concerns of the neighbours. A kerb line is going to stop water getting into the embankment down to the houses on Falkirk Road, a flood risk engineer told the meeting. The new homes will be a mixture 3-storey, bungalow and 1.5-storey, reflecting the surrounding housing. An agent for the developer said, "We would do everything in our power to engage with local people." Councillor Conn said, "This site has been vacant for a number of years. It would help to improve that part of the town."
3 million supports people in poverty. West Lothian's anti-poverty service has secured around 3 million worth of help for the people of Falthouse and the Breach Valley in the last year. The levels of debt and the need for emergency food and fuel vouchers highlighted the impact of the cost of living crisis on poor households even in a mild winter. Almost 800 vouchers were issued in the ward, which covers villages in the area stretching from Falthouse to the western fringe of Livingston, including Stonyburn and Addywell. A spokesperson for the Anti-Poverty Service said it was recognised that more outreach sessions were needed in smaller communities, admitting they were not getting the numbers that we should be, according to data. Councillors on the Falthouse and Breach Valley Local Area Committee heard that Anti-Poverty Service staff had issued 418 emergency food vouchers and 361 fuel vouchers for households at risk of disconnection in the last year. The council-run service had secured financial gains of £2,028,416 by maximising income from social security benefits in the ward over the last year. The service delivered energy savings of £72,425 through access to financial support and advice. It offered support to deal with £842,055 of problem debt, resulting in the reduction of debt repayments of £434,009. In total, 11% of Advice Shop customers in West Lothian come from the Fauldhouse and Breek Valley area. Across West Lothian, over 27 million in benefit changes and 600,000 in energy savings have been delivered over the year. There is only one outreach centre once a week in Fauldhouse, but the team is looking to develop the service. Councillor Cathy Muldoon said it was good to see the numbers in relation to the outreach. Are there any plans for more outreach, probably in Stonyburn and Addywell? People can contact the service by phone and organise telephone callbacks, but it is looking to develop more outreach services to help struggling families, especially in relation to the take-up of education benefits. The spokesperson added, Stonyburn was one area where we were expecting there to be a higher take-up of education benefit, so we're looking to see where we are not getting customers from, and we should be.
And that brings us to the end of part 3. Welcome back to part 4. We'll start with the answers to the quiz, and then we have 2 short sports items. Right, let's see how you got on with the quiz. Number 1, which American novelist created the detective Mike Hammer? The answer is A, Mickey Spillane. Number 2, the word porcine refers to which animal? The answer is A, pig. Number 3, which former England footballer is known as Golden Balls? And the answer is B, David Beckham. Number 4, in which English city does the Great North Run half marathon start? And the answer is C, Newcastle. Number 5, who wrote A Farewell to Arms and The Old Man in the Sea? And the answer is B, Ernest Hemingway. Number 6, which country won the inaugural Rugby Union World Cup in 1987? And the answer is C, New Zealand. Number 7, in Britain, which unit of liquid measure is equal to 4.55 litres? The answer is A, gallon. Number 8, what is the longest river in China? And the answer is B, the Yangtze. Number 9, who was the supreme god of the ancient Greeks? And the answer is B, Zeus. And number 10, which drink is mixed with lager to make snakebite? And the answer is C. It's a bit bigger pardon, it's not. The answer is B, cider. And our word 1. Our first word, wincey, is A, a type of cloth. And the second word, pennyroyal, is C, a species of mint. And your challenge, can you use these words in a sentence today? Good luck. And now the sports items.
This is headed Award Nom for Wilson by Andy McGilvery. Hearts striker James Wilson has been nominated for the PFA Scotland Young Player of the Year award after a special and surreal debut session. The 18-year-old from Linlithgow has been a revelation at Tynecastle this season, playing 20 Premiership games and scoring 5 goals. Wilson told Sky Sports, "It's special recognition. It has been a really quick turnaround from playing 18s and B football at the start of the season and then come in and playing a lot of minutes for Hearts, so it's quite special. The Hearts B team helps out a lot with that, the fact that you get to play against men. I've been playing since I was 16, so I think the Premiership is just quicker and you have to get used to that and adapt quite quickly. So I'm liking to think I'm doing that. The biggest difference has been dealing with the crowd." And it says he has a market value of around £1 million.
This article is titled, "We'll Prove Doubters Wrong If We're Promoted." David Martindale believes he would prove doubters wrong by returning Livingston to the Premiership at the first time of asking. The Lions were relegated at the end of the last season after finishing bottom of the table. Martindale has regrouped, brought the Challenge Cup to West Lothian by beating Queen's Park in the final, and they sit level on points with Championship leaders Falkirk, albeit with 8 goals less scored, going into the final game of the season on Friday night. Livingston host Partick Thistle, while the Bairns face bottom side Hamilton, and there is a playoff spot guaranteed for whoever finishes second. Martindale said, "I've kind of been an underdog most of my life. I think one of my biggest traits is my resilience. I knew what we had in the building. I knew what me and my staff could do. So I don't think there's anybody had us winning the league. It was Ayr United, Falkirk, Partick Thistle and Raith Rovers. If we were in a relegation battle, there would have been a lot of critics saying, 'I told you so.' But I know what I can do. I know my capabilities. I know the staff's capabilities. And then it was just about making what happen, whatever happens in the playoffs or whatever happens on Friday, the players and staff deserve a lot of credit. They've won a cup. We went to Ross County and beat a Premiership side in the Scottish Cup and were a wee bit unlucky not to go through against St Johnstone. We'd lost 5 league games all season. We've beaten the team above us. We've taken 10 points off them. I think we've got the most clean sheets in the league. Do you think I think we can get back to the Premiership? I do. But see if we don't, I think you could reflect on it. There will be disappointment, obviously, but I think you could reflect on it and say it's been a semi-successful season."
We've now come to the end of this week's recording. We hope you enjoyed it. So, it's goodbye from the members of Team 5, and until next time, stay safe and stay well.